Hello everyone. I'm Sophia, and this is my story. It's a story about dreams, family, and one sacrifice that changed my life forever. Stay with me until the end. Let's begin. I was born in a small town where life was simple, but money was always a problem. Our house wasn't big or beautiful, but it was filled with laughter, warm meals, and the love of my parents. I was the eldest child in the family. My father worked hard every day, and my mother did everything she could to take care of us. I also had two younger siblings, Daniel and Emily. From the time I was a little girl, I believed that family always came first. Every morning, I woke up before sunrise to help my mother prepare breakfast. Then I got my brother and sister ready for school before rushing to my own classes. It wasn't always easy, but seeing my family smile made me happy. I had one dream. I wanted to become a teacher. I imagined myself standing in front of a classroom, helping children learn and believe in themselves. Every night, after everyone had gone to sleep, I sat beside my old desk lamp and studied for hours. I believed that one day, all my hard work would finally pay off. But life had other plans for me. My dream was getting closer every day. After years of hard work, I finally finished school with good grades. I still remember the day I received my university acceptance letter. I held the envelope in my hands and my heart was beating so fast. Is this really happening? I whispered to myself. I ran to my mother and hugged her. Mom, I got accepted into the university, I said with tears of happiness in my eyes. My mother smiled and hugged me tightly. I always knew you could do it, Sophia, she said. That evening, our small house felt brighter than ever. My father smiled proudly, and my younger brother and sister celebrated with me. For the first time, I felt that my dream was finally becoming real. But happiness sometimes arrives with unexpected challenges. A few days later, I noticed my father sitting quietly at the kitchen table. He was looking at some papers with a worried expression on his face. Father, is everything okay? I asked. He quickly folded the papers and smiled. Yes, Sophia. Everything is fine, he replied. But I knew my father. I knew when something was troubling him. Later that night, I saw my mother talking to him in a low voice. We need to find a way, my mother said. Sophia's future is important. I quietly stood outside the door and listened. Then I heard my father's tired voice. I want to send her to university, but we already have so many responsibilities. I don't know how we will manage everything. My heart became heavy. I looked at my university letter in my hand. For the first time, I realized that my dream had a price. The next morning, I made a decision that nobody expected. A decision that would change my entire life. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual. The house was quiet, and everyone was still sleeping. I sat near the window and looked at my university letter again. For years, this was the dream I had worked for. I wanted to study, become a teacher, and build a better future. But when I looked around my small home, I saw my father's tired face and my mother's worried eyes. I knew my family needed me. At breakfast, my father smiled and said, Sophia, you should start preparing for university. We will find a way. I looked at him and forced a smile. Father, I have been thinking about something, I said. Everyone became quiet. I don't want to go to university right now. My mother dropped the spoon in her hand. What are you saying, Sophia? She asked. I took a deep breath. I want to work for some time. I want to help our family. My father looked at me with surprise. No, Sophia. Your dreams are important. You worked so hard for this. I smiled gently. My dream is important, but my family is important too. My younger sister, Emily, looked at me with sad eyes. But Sophia, you always told me to follow my dreams. Why are you giving up yours? I didn't have an answer. Because sometimes the person who tells others to chase their dreams is the same person who quietly puts their own dreams aside. That afternoon, I went to the city and found a small job at a local office. It wasn't the job I had imagined for myself, but I was happy that I could help my family. Every month, I gave most of my salary to my parents. I watched my brother and sister continue their education. I watched them grow. And every time they smiled, I told myself, this sacrifice is worth it. But deep inside my heart, there was still a small voice asking, "Sophia, what about your own dreams?" I tried to ignore that voice, because I believed that love means giving everything you have. But I didn't know that one day my family would learn the true cost of my sacrifice. Years passed quietly. I was no longer the young girl who dreamed of standing in a classroom. I had become someone who spent most of her days working and taking care of her family. My brother, Daniel, was now in college. My sister, Emily, was preparing for her future. Every morning, I woke up early, prepared breakfast, went to work, and returned home tired in the evening. But whenever I saw my brother and sister moving closer to their dreams, I felt happy. One day, Daniel came home with an excited smile. "Sophia, I got accepted for an important program at college," he said. I hugged him. "That's wonderful, Daniel. I am so proud of you." He smiled and said, "I couldn't have done it without you." Those words meant everything to me. But as the years went by, life started changing. Daniel finished college and found a good job in another city. Emily also completed her studies and started building her own career. Our little house that was once full of noise became quieter. At first, they called me every day. They asked about my health, my work, and my day. But slowly, their calls became less frequent. A week passed, then 2 weeks. Sometimes, I would look at my phone and wait for a message from them. I told myself, they are busy. They have their own lives now. I tried to understand. One evening, my mother noticed my silence. "Sophia, are you okay?" she asked. I smiled. "Yes, Mom. I am just tired." But the truth was different. I wasn't tired because of my work. I was tired because I missed the people I had spent my whole life caring for. I had given them my time, my energy, and my dreams. And now I wondered if they still remembered the sacrifices I had made. I didn't know that soon, a single phone call would bring our whole family together again. One rainy evening, I was sitting alone in our small living room. The sound of rain filled the house. I looked around and saw old family pictures on the wall. There was one picture of me, Daniel, and Emily when we were children. We were smiling, standing close together. I touched the picture and smiled. "Those were beautiful days," I whispered. At that moment, my phone rang. I looked at the screen. It was Daniel. My heart felt happy. I quickly answered. "Hello, Daniel. How are you?" There was a short silence. Then I heard his worried voice. "Sophia, I need to talk to you." I sat up. "Is everything okay?" "Yes, but..." "I found something today." "What did you find?" I asked. Daniel took a deep breath. "I was cleaning some old things at home, and I found your old university letter." I became quiet. I had forgotten about that letter. The letter that carried my biggest dream. "The university letter?" I asked softly. "Yes," Daniel replied. "I also found some old documents." "Sophia, did you give up your education because of us?" I didn't know what to say. For years, I had hidden that part of my life. I didn't want anyone to feel guilty. "Daniel, it was my choice," I finally said. "But why didn't you tell us?" he asked. I looked out at the rain falling outside. "Because I was your sister. I wanted you to have the opportunities one didn't have." There was silence on the phone. Then Daniel's voice became emotional. "Sophia, we thought you were just helping us. We never understood how much you gave up." I closed my eyes. For the first time in many years, someone finally saw my sacrifice. But that conversation was only the beginning. Because Daniel and Emily were about to learn a truth that would change the way they saw their sister forever. After that phone call, everything started to change. The next morning, I woke up and found a message from Emily. It simply said, "Sophia, can we come to see you today? We need to talk." I looked at the message for a long time. A part of me was excited. Another part of me was afraid. I wondered what they wanted to say. That afternoon, I heard a knock on the door. When I opened it, I saw Daniel and Emily standing there. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Emily ran toward me and hugged me tightly. "Sophia, I missed you so much," she said. I hugged her back. "I missed you too." We sat together in the living room, just like we used to when we were children. Daniel looked at me with sadness in his eyes. "Sophia, we need to say something." I smiled. "What is it?" He looked down. We were so busy building our own lives that we forgot the person who helped us reach here. Emily held my hand. You were always there for us. When we needed help, you helped us. When we had dreams, you supported us. But we never stopped to ask about your dreams. I felt tears in my eyes. I wanted to tell them that I never expected anything from them. I wanted to say that their happiness was enough for me. But before I could speak, Daniel continued. We found out that you never went back to school. You never followed your dream of becoming a teacher. I looked away. It's okay, I said softly. Life doesn't always go the way we plan. Emily shook her head. No, Sophia. Your dream mattered too. Those words touched my heart. For years, I had convinced myself that my dreams were not important. But hearing my brother and sister say those words made me feel something I had forgotten. That I was not just someone who gave. I was also someone who had dreams. That evening, we sat together for hours and talked about the past. For the first time in many years, I felt like my old family was back. Daniel looked at me and said, Sophia, do you remember when you used to teach me and Emily at home? I smiled. Of course I remember. You both hated doing homework. Emily laughed. That's true. But you were always patient with us. I looked at them and smiled. Those small memories were precious to me. Then Daniel became serious. Sophia, we want to do something for you. I quickly shook my head. No, Daniel. I don't need anything. Seeing you both happy is enough for me. Emily held my hand. But we need you to understand something. Love is not only about receiving. It is also about giving back. I became quiet. I had spent so many years taking care of everyone else that I forgot what it felt like to let someone take care of me. The next week, Daniel and Emily surprised me. They brought a small box. What is this? I asked. Open it, Emily said with a smile. Inside was a beautiful notebook and a pen. I looked at them confused. Daniel smiled. This is not just a notebook. This is the beginning of your new dream. I looked at them. What do you mean? Emily smiled. You always wanted to become a teacher. You can still do it. I laughed softly. After so many years? Isn't it too late? Daniel shook his head. Sophia, dreams don't have an expiry date. Those words stayed in my heart. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to imagine a different future. A future where I wasn't only helping others achieve their dreams, but where I could finally chase my own. That night, I opened the notebook and wrote my first sentence. My name is Sophia, and my story is not over yet. The next morning, I woke up with a strange feeling. For many years, I had woken up thinking about other people. I thought about my parents, my brother, and my sister. But that morning, for the first time, I thought about myself. I opened the notebook Daniel and Emily gave me. On the first page, I wrote, My dream is still alive. I smiled as I looked at those words. It felt like I had found a small part of myself that I had lost many years ago. A few days later, I visited a local education center. My hands were shaking as I walked inside. A woman at the front desk smiled and asked, How can I help you? I took a deep breath. I want to continue my studies, I said. The woman smiled. That's wonderful. It is never too late to learn. Those words gave me courage. I started studying again. It wasn't easy. Sometimes I came home tired after work and had to study late at night. Sometimes I looked at my books and wondered if I could really do it. But whenever I felt like giving up, I remembered my younger self. The girl who once dreamed of becoming a teacher. I didn't want to disappoint her. My family also supported me. Daniel called me every week and asked about my studies. Emily helped me with difficult lessons. My parents were proud. One evening, my father looked at me and said, Sophia, I always thought I failed because I couldn't give you everything you wanted. But now I realize you gave us something much bigger, your love. I held his hand. Father, our family was always my greatest blessing. That night, I understood something important. Sacrifice is a beautiful thing when it comes from love. But we should never forget that the person who sacrifices also deserves love, care, and a chance to follow their own dreams. My journey was not finished. In fact, it was just beginning. Months passed, and my life slowly began to change. Every morning, I went to work. Every evening, I studied. My days were busy, but my heart was happier than it had been in years. I was no longer the girl who had hidden her dreams away. I was Sophia again. One day, something unexpected happened. I was walking home after my class when I saw a group of children sitting outside a small community center. They were trying to read a storybook, but some of them were struggling. I stopped and watched them. I remembered myself when I was young, sitting under an old lamp and dreaming about becoming a teacher. I walked closer and asked, "Would you like some help with your reading?" The children smiled. "Yes, please." I sat with them and started teaching. Their happy faces filled my heart with joy. That day, I realized something. Maybe my dream had changed, but it had never disappeared. I didn't need a big classroom to make a difference. I just needed the chance to share my knowledge. A few weeks later, the community center offered me a part-time teaching position. When I heard the news, I couldn't believe it. I called my family immediately. "Guess what?" I said. "What happened?" Emily asked excitedly. "I got a teaching job." There was a moment of silence. Then everyone started cheering. My mother cried happy tears. My father said, "I always knew you would achieve your dreams, Sophia." I looked up at the sky and smiled. For many years, I thought I had lost my dream. But I finally understood. Some dreams may take a different path, but they can still find their way back to you. My first day as a teacher was a day I will never forget. I stood in front of a small classroom filled with children. My hands were nervous and my heart was beating fast. For a moment, I remembered the young Sophia who once dreamed of this day. I smiled and wrote my name on the board. "My name is Sophia, and I will be your teacher." The children looked at me with curious eyes. One little girl raised her hand and asked, "Teacher, why did you choose to teach?" I looked at the children and smiled. I could have told them about my struggles. I could have told them about the dreams I had left behind. But instead, I said, "Because I believe everyone deserves someone who believes in them." Those words came from my heart. Every day, I watched my students learn and grow. Sometimes they reminded me of Daniel and Emily when they were young. I helped them with their lessons, listened to their problems, and encouraged them to follow their dreams. One afternoon, my family came to visit my classroom. My parents looked around with proud smiles. My father quietly said, "Sophia, look at you. You finally did it." I smiled. "No, Father. We did it." Daniel looked at the classroom and said, "I never realized how much you gave us until I saw you here." Emily hugged me. "You spent years helping us find our way. Now we are happy to see you finding yours." At that moment, I felt something I had not felt for a long time. Peace. I realized that my sacrifice was not the end of my story. It was just one chapter. The next chapters were about hope, learning, and discovering myself again. But there was still one more thing I needed to do. I needed to forgive myself for forgetting my own dreams for so many years. For a long time, I thought my biggest mistake was giving up my dream. I often wondered, what would my life have been like if I had gone to university when I was young? But one evening, while I was sitting in my classroom after all the children had gone home, I found my answer. I looked around the room. The books, the drawings on the wall, and the small chairs around me. I smiled. Maybe my journey was different from what I had imagined, but it brought me somewhere beautiful. I learned that life does not always follow the road we plan. Sometimes it takes us through difficult paths that teach us the most important lessons. A few days later, my brother Daniel visited me. He was holding a small envelope. "Sophia, I brought something for you," he said. I opened it and saw an old picture. It was a picture of me helping Daniel with his homework when he was a child. I laughed. "You kept this all these years?" He smiled. "Yes, because this picture reminds me of the person who always believed in me." I looked at the picture carefully. I remembered those days. I remembered the little boy who needed my help. And I remembered the young girl who wanted nothing more than to see her family happy. "Sophia," Daniel said softly, "I want you to know something. We didn't forget you because we didn't love you. We forgot because we were busy growing up. But now we understand." I nodded. "I know, Daniel. And I truly meant it. Forgiveness is not about forgetting the past. It is about choosing love instead of holding on to pain." That evening, I went home with a peaceful heart. I finally understood that my story was never just about sacrifice. It was about love. And love has the power to bring people back together. Years went by, and my life changed in ways I never expected. I was no longer the young woman who hid her dreams inside a drawer. I was Sophia, the teacher, the sister, the daughter, and a woman who finally learned her own value. One day, my students surprised me. They came into the classroom holding small cards and flowers. "Thank you, Teacher Sophia," they said together. I opened the cards one by one. Inside were simple words. "You helped me believe in myself. You taught me never to give up. You are the best teacher." My eyes filled with tears. I realized that years ago, I wanted to become a teacher because I wanted to change lives. And somehow, after all the challenges, I was finally doing exactly that. That evening, my whole family gathered at our house. My mother prepared our favorite meal, just like she did when we were children. We sat together, laughed, and shared old memories. My father looked at me and said, "Sophia, when you were young, you gave up so much for us. But today, we want you to know something." I looked at him. "What is it, Father?" He smiled. "You never lost your dream. You only took a longer path to reach it." Those words touched my heart. I looked at my family and realized something important. The love we give to others is never wasted. Sometimes it returns to us in ways we never expect. That night, I wrote in my notebook, "A person's life is not measured by what they lose. It is measured by the love they share and the lives they touch." And for the first time, I closed my notebook with a peaceful smile. But my story still had one final chapter. The final chapter of my story began on a quiet morning. I was sitting in my classroom, watching my students read their books. The sunlight came through the window and I smiled. I thought about the young Sophia I used to be, the girl who had big dreams but didn't know what the future would bring. I wished I could go back and tell her something. I would tell her, "Don't be afraid. Your dreams may take longer, but they are still waiting for you." That afternoon, Daniel and Emily came to visit me. They had a surprise. "We want to show you something," Daniel said. They took me to a small building near our town. I looked at the sign outside. It said, "Sophia's Learning Center." I was shocked. "What is this?" I asked. Emily smiled. "This is our gift to you." I looked at them with tears in my eyes. "You didn't have to do this." Daniel shook his head. "We know, but you spent your life helping others. We wanted to help you continue your mission." Inside the Learning Center were books, desks, and a beautiful place for children to learn. I walked around slowly, touching the bookshelves. My heart was full. I remembered the day I put my university letter away. I remembered all the sacrifices. But now I understood something. Every difficult moment had brought me here. That evening, I stood in front of the children at the Learning Center and said, "Never believe that your dreams are impossible. Life may challenge you, but never stop believing in yourself." The children listened carefully, and I smiled, because I was not only teaching them lessons from books, I was teaching them a lesson from my own life. Years later, I sat in my favorite chair near the window of my learning center. I watched children walking in with smiles on their faces, carrying books in their hands. Every time I saw them, I remembered my own journey. A journey filled with dreams, challenges, sacrifices, and love. I used to think that I had lost many years of my life. I thought about the education I missed and the dreams I had delayed. But now I knew the truth. I didn't lose those years. Those years shaped me into the person I became. My family taught me the meaning of love. My struggles taught me the meaning of strength. And my second chance taught me that it is never too late to follow your dreams. One evening, my brother Daniel and my sister Emily sat with me outside the learning center. Daniel smiled and said, "Sophia, do you know something? You changed all of our lives." I laughed softly. "No, we changed each other's lives." Emily held my hand. "You always thought you were only helping us, but you were also teaching us kindness, patience, and love." I looked at my family and felt grateful. Life is not always perfect. Sometimes we have to make difficult choices. Sometimes our path becomes different from what we planned. But every act of love leaves a mark. And every dream that comes from the heart is worth protecting. I opened my old notebook and read the first sentence I had written years ago. My name is Sophia, and my story is not over yet. I smiled, because it was true. My story was never about giving up. It was about finding myself again. And if you are listening to my story today, I want you to remember one thing. Never stop believing in your dreams. Because sometimes life takes you on a long journey, but the right moment can still arrive. If you like this story, please support our channel by giving it a thumbs up, and sharing it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to Choice to Learn English Stories for more emotional and inspiring stories. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.